Yeah. She was worried about me.
Who's that?
It's my mom. I think she was worried about me.
Well, that's true.
I think my mom's a nurse. When Meg got a diagnosis of stage 4 ovarian cancer, my mom I think my mom thought she knew that Meg was going to die.
So where have you taken us, Meg?
To the basement cabinet where there's a file cabinet, and my letters are in here. All kinds of stuff are in here, but I wrote letters to the kids when I was sick, and I'm looking for them. I haven't actually pulled them out since then. Fortunately, they haven't either. So let's see. Yep, there's the letter to read, and yep, the letter to Grace. So these are letters I wrote from the in a hallway, actually, in the hospital, and I was waiting for a test and just wanted to make sure they had something from me, when the time would come. So this one's January 25th, 1995. Dear Reed, I have spent so much time thinking about this letter. Maybe I want it to be perfect, and surely that can't be. If you are reading this, or having it read to you, it is because I died while you were young. What I wish, I guess, is that this letter could make it all better, but I know that nothing can do that.
She had this amazing story because she survived the unsurvivable. And sometimes I wonder, why did this person survive?
The difference for Meg versus 99% of people with cancer is Meg said, hey, wait a minute, maybe this was a wake-up call. Maybe this was a message that it's time for me to use what I've learned in this journey.
All right, where are you guys going to go anyways?
Like you just went through 18 months thinking you were going to die and leave 2 little kids behind and this and that, this and that, and now you're just supposed to show up at work again and act like we're all good? How does that work? And that is survivorship. That's what interested Ellen, That's what survivorship is about. It's about what now?
She then turned her struggle and her story and her cancer experience as a young mother into an entire career and lifetime of helping other people and advocating for them.
When you have an experience like I had, like getting diagnosed with a life-threatening illness and being as terrified as I was, as we were, and having that kind of powerless, helpless feeling, does feel like being tossed around in a boat, and you do have to find your way and trust yourself and trust your crew and learn who not to trust and send them down below. And you're sometimes you're always the captain. You're sometimes on the tiller, and sometimes you're down below puking. That's the best you can do. But but even when somebody else's hand is on the tiller, even if you're in surgery and your surgeon's hand is on the tiller, and you're in recovery and your recovery nurse's hand is on the tiller, you're still the captain. You're just not at the helm. The Center for Patient Partnerships is an interdisciplinary, university-based center that trains future students, amplifies the voices of patients, and emphasizes the partnerships between patients and clinicians at the micro, meso, and macro levels. So from the clinical encounter to the halls of Congress and everywhere in between.
I'm still alive because of Meg, and it's sort of daunting to think about it.
I met Pete when he was diagnosed with melanoma, metastatic melanoma, which at the time he was diagnosed was pretty much considered a deadly disease.
I was worried about surviving the next day, the next week, the next month, and here she was 5 years out from her cancer, and I thought, that's where I want to be.
He was in treatment while he was already volunteering for us as a faculty member, so he supervises students and helps them learn how to be with patients and survivors and how to be present. And he's one of the most extraordinary people I've ever met. In those days, there weren't any of those, like wig stores in the hospital or anything like that. So I went to JCPenney and got a wig that looked reasonably okay. And I called Duncan at like 6 o'clock at night and I said, help Duncan, this is a disaster, a complete disaster. This wig looks awful. So it was like 6:30 at night and he said, come on over then, love, come on over. So I went to his house. I'd never been to his house before. He says he's never done another one and would never do another one. He said Duncan is not in the wig trimming business. But he did it, and somehow that seemed to matter so much.
Where I get my hair cut, the guy that cuts my hair knew of our situation. He said, there's a woman that we know that I know that has gone through this personally, but she also runs an organization at the University of Wisconsin to help patients navigate that journey. And gave me her phone number, and I called her that day in the parking lot. She had an ability, even in that first conversation by the phone, to relate to us and to what was going on, not to offer false promises or say that she could change the world or do anything, but that we weren't alone in that journey.
We can try and know how they feel, and we need to connect with them and show our empathy, but we can't feel it the same way Meg can feel it.
No matter who she's with, she makes them feel like they're her focus right now, and she's in that moment with you, and she really makes you feel like you're going to be okay.
When somebody needs to cry, like you can just tell somebody needs to cry, like everybody does sometimes. If you get to be the person on the other end of the phone that allows somebody just to do that, it's really a huge gift to be able to give that gift,
I think Maggie had some peace and confidence because of Meg, and not because she knew that Meg was going to change the course of her illness, or that there was even a possibility to that, but just the confidence and the belief in that what we were doing was everything that we can.
Getting an award is great, but it really does belong to Ellen and the whole community, My colleagues and my family and everybody who's hung around while I banged on about this.
Grateful to have the exposure to Meg Gaines that I've had, and I'm certainly hopeful to continue to have that chance to interact and stay close to her, and look forward to continuing to learn and be involved with her in her life.
You kind of want life to be this lyrical, poetic, romantic thing where you are born and you have this perfect this and you have this perfect that, and then when you're 105, you don't wake up one morning. But in fact, life is a lot more unexpected and a lot more entertaining in a way than that.